Coming up, wild weather. As parts of the country get hit with spring storms, we'll take a look at the science behind rain. Also ahead, one youth organization steeped in tradition is changing its name.
This name change and rebranding really highlights the fact that we should, be able to reach every person who wants to join or every person who wants to be included.
Then we'll celebrate the achievements and diversity of the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander communities. Plus, Beyonce defined. We'll explain. And Baby Talk. Meet the zoo's newest edition. We're in Ohio with the details. And Finding Messi, the story behind this new book and why this teenage author wanted to write it.
Everything about this project and book supports people in Poland and Ukraine fleeing war. Firstly, when my dad and I went to Ukraine to help people, that was the first step in this kind of humanitarian journey of sorts. And I think the book does a great job conveying how children displaced by war would feel, and every dollar spent on the book goes to charitable organizations helping people flee Ukraine and get settled in Poland.
This is NBC Nightly News Kids Edition.
Welcome back to Nightly News Kids Edition. I'm Lester Holt. It's great to be with you. We have a terrific lineup ahead, from a baby bat-eared fox to our pop quiz. Plus, it's Teacher Appreciation Week. But first, let's begin on the weather front. Parts of the country have been getting hit this week by some spring storms, including heavy rain and flooding. And it got us thinking, just what is rain and how does it form? Our friend Dylan Dreyer explains.
Rain. It can spoil some of your favorite outdoor activities. But have you ever wondered, what is rain? And how does rain actually form? Rain is water falling from the sky, and it's a part of the Earth's water cycle. Water has three forms. It may be a liquid, a solid called ice, or a gas called water vapor or steam. Rain is the liquid form of water that falls from the sky in drops. At the start of the cycle, the sun heats up water on the Earth. The heat causes the water to evaporate or turn into water vapor, and then travels up into the sky. Clouds are formed when water vapor rises into the air. These water droplets clump together and eventually form clouds. When water droplets bump into one another in those clouds, they stick together and grow in size. And when these water droplets get too heavy to stay in the cloud, they fall to Earth. That's rain. Sometimes if it rains too much, it can cause flooding. But it's important to note that rain is a good thing. Rain is essential to all living things on Earth, playing a critical role in the growth of things like plants, trees, animals, and humans too. Did you know one of the wettest places in the United States is Hilo, Hawaii? This city averages about 211 days a year with measurable rain. Umbrellas definitely come in handy here. So now, the next time you hear the forecast for rain, look up in the sky and try to spot the rain clouds. And even though rain can dampen some of your plans, there are always rainy day activities to enjoy indoors while you wait for the raindrops to stop falling. Or you can simply go outside and splash around in all those puddles.
Great explanation as always, Dylan. Thank you. Also making headlines this week, the Boy Scouts of America made a big announcement. The organization is changing its name in an effort to be more inclusive. Let's get details now from our friend Ann Thompson.
For the first time in history, the Boy Scouts of America is changing its name. Scouting America will be the new name.
This name change and rebranding really highlights the fact that we should, be able to reach every person who wants to join or every person who wants to be included.
The name change will go into effect in 2025 to coincide with the organization's 115th anniversary in February. What will not change is the mission.
They're learning about self-reliance. They're learning how to work as a team. Those lessons are going to stick with them for the rest of their lives and make them better people and better citizens. And that's why we do scouting.
The organization began allowing openly gay youth in 2013. Then in 2018, girls were first able to join the Cub Scouts, the organization's program for children 7 to 10 years old. 1 year later, the Boy Scouts welcomed older girls, 11 to 17.
The biggest thing that scouting has done for me is improve my confidence. In middle school, I was very shy. I had a lot of trouble talking to people and talking in front of people. Now I'm doing a news interview. I've spoken in front of very large groups of people, giving speeches, teaching lessons to troops full of kids, and I have to address all of them at once and teach them information that they need to be able to retain and use later, which is a big deal for me, given I couldn't talk in front of my class 5 years ago.
I think it's important that, it's not just girls, but it's everyone who's eligible to participate.
An organization steeped in tradition, hoping for a more inclusive future.
I think it's definitely going to make more people aware that, A, girls are in Scouts, and then make more girls aware, hey, I can join this program and get this great experience under my belt.
It's not, oh, you're a Boy Scout? No, I'm in Scouting America. So I think it's more inclusive. I think a lot of people will benefit from it, and more people would be inclined to join because it's for everyone.
Okay, Ann, thanks so much. Well, did you know that May is a month dedicated to commemorating and celebrating the achievements and diversity of the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander communities? Our friend Kathy Park explains.
Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month is celebrated every May. Did you know AAPI began as a week-long celebration in the late 70s to commemorate the history and contributions of Asian Americans? It was extended to a full month in 1990. The official designation of May as AAPI Heritage Month was signed into law in 1992. In 2021, President Joe Biden issued a proclamation expanding the name to Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. The very same year, Vice President Kamala Harris became the first person of South Asian descent to be vice president. So, why May? Well, it was picked to coincide with two major milestones: the arrival of the nation's first Japanese immigrants in May of 1843 and the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad in May 1869, which involved the labor of many Chinese immigrants.
What I hope is, as people come to learn and to celebrate and acknowledge Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, Pacific Islanders, is that they understand that we're not a monolith, that we are an extremely diverse community with a lot of different languages and cultures and histories that do actually have a lot of parallels, but that we're different and that we can also be united in that way, recognizing that this is our collective history, because our histories all influence and are intertwined and have brought us to where we are today.
The U.S. Census Bureau defines a person of the Asian race as having origins in any of the original peoples of the Far East, Southeast Asia, or the Indian subcontinent. A Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander is defined as a person of having origins in any of the original peoples of Hawaii, Guam, Samoa, or other Pacific islands. And guess what? There's some things you can do to celebrate this month, like go exploring in your community, find out about local landmarks, or maybe see what activities are taking place in your neighborhood to honor AAPI Heritage Month. You can also make a kid-friendly reading list. Talk to your teacher or your parents about books that will introduce you to characters from these cultures to learn more.
I'm biased. I think that one thing that I would highly recommend that kids and grown-ups do is to read. There are so many gorgeous books.
And have some fun with food too. Maybe sample something sweet, like Japanese rice treats called mochi. At this one-of-a-kind mochi confectionery in Los Angeles, the sweet and chewy dessert is made with rice flour, mixed, pounded, rolled, stuffed, and decorated all on site.
Mochi in general comes in two forms. One is a plain white mochi that's like dumpling, and we use it for ceremonial things like New Year's Day. The other mochi is a sweet mochi, and it's soft and it's sweet, and most of the time it has a sweet bean paste filling, either red bean or white bean.
That sounds pretty good to me. Regardless of what you do, it's important to remember AAPI Heritage Month is a chance for kids and grown-ups to learn more about these cultures and celebrate.
I hope that people do take the time and initiative to start to learn more, and that when you do, I hope that you don't stay at a shallow surface level of learning just about our holidays and our food and the 4 heroes that you might have known about already. That I hope you go deeper to understand people that you maybe never learned about in history books that might not be on your movie screens, and about so many other layers of history that continue to remain invisible, so that you can have a much deeper understanding of who we are as a community.
Kathy, thanks so much. All right, well, many teachers across the country are getting high marks and some extra credit this week in honor of Teacher Appreciation Week. The idea of recognizing and honoring teachers began decades ago with former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, who was also a teacher. She urged Congress to designate a day to thank teachers back in 1953. From there, the day evolved into a week-long event. A big shout out to all the teachers out there watching. Okay, time for our pop quiz. The question this week, what kind of animal is a Rhode Island Red? Is it A, a chicken, B, a cardinal, or C, fox? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. Okay, time's up. The answer is A, chicken. The Rhode Island Red is a chicken, the state bird of Rhode Island. Rhode Island Reds have rich, dark red feathers and are often referred to as roadies. Well, now for our picture of the week, say hello to the Cincinnati Zoo's newest addition. This baby bat-eared fox was born late last month. The zoo says the baby boy is progressing well with bottle feeding and sleeps a lot, which is normal. We're also told the baby fox is very curious about his surroundings. Did you know bat-eared foxes are native to eastern and southern Africa? Once full grown, they have giant ears and exceptional hearing. The zoo has yet to name the baby. Right now, they're only working on socializing him before he makes his public debut sometime in the future. Well, turning to entertainment news now, calling all you Beyoncé fans. The superstar's name is being added to an important educational resource. That's right, Beyoncé is one of 40 people who will be included in a French encyclopedia dictionary. Beyoncé's entry reads, American singer of R&B and pop. Earlier this year, the Grammy Award winner released her 8th solo album, Cowboy Carter. Finally, in our Inspiring Kids series, a story about love, empathy, and coming together to help others in need. We first introduced you to New Jersey teenager Trevor Osfeld 2 years ago.
Right now, we're on the border of Poland and Ukraine.
Just a few weeks after Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, Trevor wanted to help the people of Ukraine, so he and his dad traveled to the region with a group of volunteers to deliver humanitarian supplies.
Diapers, it was Band-Aids, it was sanitary products. It was just essentials for people.
During this time, Trevor met several families who were displaced because of the war, including a girl named Irina, and her story would inspire him to pay it forward. Finding Messi is about the bond between a girl and her beloved cat. And joining us now is the author, Trevor Osfeld. Trevor, it's great to have you. Congratulations on the book.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Without giving too much away, give us a sense of what the story is about.
So the story is about a girl named Irina who, after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, had to flee her home and leave her cat behind. Irina thought that she was only going to be leaving for a few days, and because Messi, her cat, was an inside cat, Messi could stay home for a few days. But after they realized they had to stay in Warsaw, Poland for longer, they had to figure out a way to get Messi back. And the story follows Messi's journey and Irina's emotional journey of getting her cat back.
And I don't think I give too much away to say that Messi, named after, of course, the famous soccer player,
yes,
because Messi the cat likes soccer balls.
Yeah, exactly.
So what did you have to go through to track her down and to tell this story?
So we first met Irina and her mom at a displaced persons hotel in Warsaw, Poland. But when we started thinking about the idea for the book, which was months after we talked to Irina about her story, Irina and her mother had already moved to an apartment in Warsaw. So she was no longer living at the hotel for displaced persons and had gotten a permanent residence at an apartment. And we had to contact one of the agencies helping people like Irina and her mom flee from Ukraine to Poland to get their contact.
And you worked together to tell this story, the two of you.
Yeah, so we met, 6 months after I met Irina. We met on a Zoom with her mom, and we talked about what the book was going to be about. I already had some plans laid out for her story based on what I knew, but she gave a lot of input as to how to convey her message on paper.
And there were some surprises and twists in the story along the way.
Yes.
We won't give those away, but you're along for the journey, more or less.
Yeah, you are along for the journey when you're reading this book, definitely.
The illustrations are really terrific. Did you and Irina work on that as well?
Well, we picked, through our publisher, we had 3 illustrators who were proposed, and we picked one of the 3 proposed illustrators, and I think she did an amazing job. Her illustrations are behind us. They look great. So
here's a big question. Has Irina been able to see this yet?
Yes. Irina has been able to see the book. She was very involved in the process of writing and publishing the book, and was actually in America with her mom a week ago, and we were signing books then, and she saw the book then as well.
This story, I was thinking as I was reading it, it relates to so many kids who have gone through similar circumstances, being chased from their homes, literally chased from their homes. Will this resonate, do you think, with other families and children?
Yes. I think on the first hand, it would definitely resonate with children who had to flee their homes in a time of war, because I think that it conveys Irina's story from a children's perspective very effectively. And I think something that's also great about the book is that it relates to children who have not had to flee their home for war, but who have pets who they care about, and they can understand Irina's emotional state, having to leave her cat and hope to get her cat back. And I think kids reading it, even in America, could understand that and empathize with her.
I'm glad you said that. As an adult, that struck me as well, that if you're an animal lover, if you have a dear pet, you get it when you read this story. You get this determination to reconnect with her cat, if only just to get food to the cat who they had to quickly leave behind.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's one of the most special parts of this book.
Was it difficult writing this?
It wasn't difficult, but I had to be in a mindset of, kind of a bird's eye view mindset of the story and how it progressed, because I created a storyboard of sorts trying to map out how the story would progress. And that was the hardest part, being able to organize the story effectively so our message came across in the best way possible.
And I know you have decided to donate the proceeds from this book. This all started, by the way, as a charitable mission. You're going over with your father to help people who are in trouble. You meet Irina, and now you're paying it forward, essentially.
Yeah, so everything about this project and book supports people in Poland and Ukraine fleeing war. Firstly, when my dad and I went to Ukraine to help people, that was the first step in this kind of humanitarian journey of sorts. And I think the book does a great job conveying how children displaced by war would feel, and every dollar spent on the book goes to charitable organizations helping people flee Ukraine and get settled in Poland.
Well, Trevor, it's a great story. It's great what you've done. It's great that it's a true story as well for kids. I think they'll get a lot out of it. We appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's going to do it for us parents. Just a reminder, if your child has a question about any topic in the news, email a video to us at NightlyNewsKids@NBCUni.com, and we'll try to answer them in an upcoming episode. You can also follow us on Instagram @NightlyKids. Thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to take care of yourself and each other. So long.